The living edge, breaking the marriage. This problem has been months in the making and I'm just trying to heal and move on and reconcile. I feel like I need to get this out and off my chest because 1. Nobody else in my personal life knows about this. 2. I want to see if anybody else can offer some input. I apologize, but I have a lot to pour out. I'm going to break this up into parts. Ultimately, my wife had an emotional affair with another female co-worker. Backstory of us: we are your average American family. 3 kids, together 14 years. We got together young, 18 and 19. She's 6 months older than me. We actually started talking online about 3 years before we got together. We tried the long distance thing, but it just wasn't feasible at that age, so we broke it off, but we fell hard and fast for each other. After about 6 months of not a word to each other online, we start talking again and she comes to visit me and we've been together ever since. We go through adulthood, we have all our trials and tribulations together, we struggle together, we built careers together. We had 3 beautiful children together, bought a house, cars, enroll our children in sports, this comes into play later, etc. We both came from broken homes and wanted to make better lives together. We wanted to beat the odds and be better than what we were raised in, and we did. She grew up with an abusive father and me an abusive mother. Her father tore her down, physically and mentally abused her from a very young age, beat her severely, constantly made her not feel like she was good enough for anything, constantly criticized her for her weight. She was a big girl. He beat her mother as well, and in general he was just a raging alcoholic piece of crap. He actually got thrown in jail for choking her one time when she was about 15 or so. My mother was a narcissistic hypochondriac that constantly had to be the center of attention at the woe is me party. She was a liar and a thief, jailed multiple times for it, not liked by anybody, neglectful, did not pay bills. We constantly had the electricity turned off and we were bouncing from home to home when she fell behind on rent. We didn't come from the best of conditions. We found each other and found kindred spirits. Due to her upbringing and her being a larger girl, she's always had image issues and has constantly been down about the way she looked, which in turn made her very insecure around other women. She battled her depression issues and she has always thought of herself as not good enough for me, or that I deserve better, that I deserve a better wife. The best I could do for years is just reassure her that I loved her and that I wasn't going anywhere. I tried to tell her she was beautiful all the time and show her I wanted her and her alone. She ended up getting a gastric sleeve last year and has since lost over 170 pounds and is looking great. Backstory of the incident: with our oldest son playing football, naturally we have to attend practices, and over the years of him playing, a group of us parents formed that always hang out together at practices and games. There is one female that is part of our group that my wife has never been fond of. We'll call her female, or Effa for short. A single mom that gets a lot of male attention. I know my wife didn't care for her too much, so I always tried to just keep it cordial and strictly about the sport and kids with her. A lot of us hung out together outside of football. We're all friends with each other on social media, but I tried to not have it a combination of strictly just us and her hanging out because I knew my wife didn't like her too well. All the functions we attended with common friends of Effa, I always just kept it high. We did the adult thing. We didn't start any drama within the group, we just dealt with it and moved on. It was a minor inconvenience to have to deal with her at best. At one of the practices my wife didn't attend, Effa brings her friend female B to the field to hang out. FB apparently thought I was attractive and asked Fa if I was available, which she replied, "No, he's married." That is the first and last time I've since encountered FB. The football season ends. Typically at this time of the year none of us hang out together because it's the beginning of the holiday season and everybody just kind of does their own thing for the winter. We're all busy working and preparing for the holidays. The beginning of the incident: around the middle of December of 18, I notice my wife start to act weird. It's nothing major, but she's making small snide comments at me and a little shift in attitude. I figure it's just typical holiday stress. I tried to approach her and see if something was wrong or if she needed to talk. During this time, she starts going on more frequent girls' nights out with her co-workers, only this time she's staying out till anywhere between 5 and 6 a.m. I never cared that she went out with her co-workers, but I really didn't think it was appropriate to come home that late with no word on what was going on. I asked her what happened and she said she got a little too drunk and fell asleep in her car in the parking lot of the bar she was at. That's way out of the ordinary for her and I tried to be understanding. I figured rather safe than sorry. A couple weeks go by, it happens again. The second time I tell her it's not cool to do that. I worry about her and the part of town the bar is in. She could easily be picked up by a cop or worse and get possibly X'd by a passerby. Either way, I don't care how I sound on it. I don't think it's cool, period. January 2019 comes and she starts talking about how she's feeling like she's having a midlife crisis because she's turning 34 this year and feels like she wasted her 20s being depressed and overweight. By this time, it's every weekend thing with the co-workers and staying out till the wee hours of the morning. She's acting off and I don't know how to help her. This immediately starts throwing up huge red flags for me and I try to be there for her and comfort her. At this point we've argued a few times about her going out and I lay it out for her that I'm worried about her. I'm worried she's self-destructing and I want to help that I can't sit by and watch her do this to herself. The alcohol drinking is way out of control and I feel helpless and kind of just do the best I can with what I have for a couple of more weeks, all the while knowing something is major league wrong. She keeps telling me she misses me and I obviously miss her. Our work schedules weren't very compatible at the time. She worked long 12-hour shifts at the hospital and I'm a system admin in a high-stress environment. Finally get a date night and go out together, and she posted a pre-game selfie on social media, and a male coworker, we'll call him Male A, I had never even heard of before, putting a comment on it that I did not like at all. I asked her who he was and I get the "oh, he's a co-worker, you don't have to worry about it," and I let her know it clearly bothered me what he said. I got off my chest what I needed to get off. I told her I didn't like it. It made me uncomfortable. I started asking all kinds of questions about Ma, seeing as I haven't heard a peep about this guy before, and that kind of sent up huge red flags and I had an aha moment. I asked her to delete the comment. She wouldn't. I got upset because I felt like she was defending him more than even listening to me at all. We argued. Bad. Date night ruined. The week after date night argument about Mela was pure hell. She went out a couple times. My gut was twisted and I spiraled into a huge paranoid and anxiety-filled depression. She was going out multiple times a week for several weeks. It was at this point in my life that I've never felt so alone. Utterly alone. I lost weight, couldn't sleep. There was days where I would go 2 to 3 days at a time without any sleep whatsoever. I could see the look in her eyes. There was guilt in her eyes. I know her. She was hiding something. I couldn't prove anything, but I knew she was. In my mind, I lost her already and I had no idea why. I don't know what happened. I tried looking for any explanation. I looked at divorce rates for gastric sleeve recipients and was horrified. I thought that maybe it. I re-examined everything I had done and wondered, what did I do wrong? Was it me? Was I a boring person now? Why can't she look me in the eye without sobbing up with tears? I started pulling cell phone records. I was horrified when I found out she had been calling and texting with Mela for the month of January. I tried to ask her any which way I could and get it out of her in that time if she was. She denied it. At that point I had the worst anxiety attack I'd ever had in my life. On further examination, things suddenly stopped between the two on January 22nd. That night I pulled the records. This was about February 6th. She kept pestering me, asking me what was wrong, and all I could think was, "Really? You're asking me what's wrong?" I pulled out the records I had printed and asked her what the hell it was. She told me they mostly talked work stuff, and one night he asked her to send him nudes and she told him off and hadn't spoken since. I never saw messages and she offered no proof other than her word that's what happened. I chose to believe it. More days go by and I still know something was wrong. She still had that look of guilt and my suspicions grew. I chose to believe her because those dates lined up with what she said, but it still didn't account for what changed mid-December 2018 and started this. I kept going on wondering, looking at her. She couldn't look at me without crying almost. I knew something either had happened or something else was going on that I didn't know about. Valentine's Day rolls around and it was the worst Valentine's Day ever. She came to pick me up from work so we could go to lunch. She gets me in the car and just has this look on her face. I ask her if she's all right and she says, "No, I have to tell you something." My stomach sank into the bottom of my seat and I thought, oh no, this is it. This is the end of us. She begins to tell me how in December she got a random message on Facebook. Would a female be from that one football practice that I had met once? Apparently had stalked my profile, messaged my wife and told her that I was carrying on an affair with female. At this point I'm mortified and beyond shocked. I'm now on the defensive for something I did not do. And then came that second thought, did my wife cheat on me because of a malicious lie? I try to beg and plead with her to believe me. I get a thought for a second in my head that this is a ploy. Did she really get a message? Is this cover for her own actions? I try to message female to ask her what the hell is her friend's problem is. My wife refuses to allow me to do so. After some talking, she said she chose to believe me, that I had not had contact with female since the end of football season, that I didn't even have the time to have an affair due to a major project I was working on at work at the time and the stress from the holiday activities. One that she knows for a fact that I was where I said I was at. Fast forward through another week of uneasy peace, wondering, hoping she believed me, hoping my marriage wasn't falling apart because of a lie. Her still going out once a week and staying out all hours. We had a date night on a Saturday and it was amazing. One of the best dates I'd ever been on with her. I thought things might have been starting to look up. I still hadn't had any resolve and still had a gut feeling something was off as I noticed her walk to the bathroom several times and stay there for extended periods of time during our date. I watched her text count skyrocket higher and higher. I made up some crap to try and get it out of her because at 400 texts in the first week of the billing period alone, it was suspicious. I told her I was getting notifications of unusual activity on the account. She couldn't believe it and had no explanation. I let it go. Maybe she was talking to her friends from work or something. I don't know. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the night with her, and I did. And then comes D-Day, February 24th, 2019. A day I'll never forget. We woke up that day and got the kids from their grandparents' house. She was crying when we woke up. I asked her what was wrong. She wouldn't say. She told me she was sorry for everything and wanted to make it all better, but she still couldn't look me in the eye. We go through the morning routine with breakfast with the kids, and they go down for a nap, and we go down for a nap still tired from the night before. She falls asleep. I couldn't sleep because of the uneasy feeling I had, so I went to a friend's house for a little bit to clear my mind while everybody at home napped. I came home a couple of hours later and walked into the bedroom. The minute she saw me, she started crying. She told me she needed to tell me something. She began to tell me how the night before we went out for a date, which was a Friday, we had gone out on Saturday night. She had made out with another chick at the bar to get a drink. Apparently, she had ran out of money at the bar and a dude and his girlfriend walked up. And there's also more, that while I was worried about male A, I should have been worried about her female coworker. I come to find out that they had been talking explicitly for a month. My wife had sent her lingerie pictures, and about how she was telling this female coworker she loved her. So, I'm hit with the double whammy that my wife not only cheated on me emotionally, and probably physically, but that she's either possibly closet gay or bi at the minimum. I was initially numb. I couldn't believe what had just happened. Was this real? It most definitely was. While she was telling me this, I immediately went to Facebook. I found the coworker's husband. I did not tell her at the time I did this. I sent the husband a message letting him know what had happened and that we both had a problem. I told female what was going on and to thank her friend for screwing up my life and ruining my marriage. I went to grab her phone and demanded that she show me the texts. She was crying hysterically and deleted the message log from the phone saying no. I immediately started seeing red. I grabbed my things. I told her we were done and to not touch me. She's frantically trying to get me to not leave the whole time and trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I told her it wasn't any of her business anymore. She tried to cry and hug me. I pulled away. She came crying again, and against my better judgment at the time I leaned in to give what had to have been probably the coldest hug I'd ever given anybody. I didn't touch her. She wrapped her arms around me and cried on my shoulder, and that was it. I have a soft spot when I see her cry. I don't know. I can't resist it. I have to help. I did the best I could resist, but I couldn't. She asked me what I was going to do. I told her she had enough fun on my watch. It was my turn. I had no intention of shacking up with a total stranger that night, but I wanted the words to burn. I left for the night, got some money, and went to a local hotel. I checked in, put my things, and did what most people would do in this situation. I went to the local watering hole to drink my pain away, to drink her away. I bought a bunch of people at the bar rounds just to keep me company so I wouldn't be alone, but I sat there with a horrible expression on my face because several people were asking me what's wrong. I wouldn't tell. I just wanted to numb myself. A few hours go by after I leave and I start getting texts from her asking where I'm at and if I'm all right. I could feel her pain through the texts and her just wanting to know I was okay and safe. I responded coldly and told her that I was all right and it wasn't her job to worry about me anymore. Against my better judgment, full of raw emotion, I go home to talk. 14 years together, and I'm debating whether or not this is worthy of throwing that amount of time down the drain for kissing a girl at the bar in an emotional affair. I start asking myself questions like, do I love her enough to forgive? Can I ever trust her again? If I do, can I let this go? As I get home, I hear back from female A saying that she's not surprised female B has done this. This wasn't the first time female B has done this to a couple, but this is the first time female B had brought female A into a situation like this. Apparently female B owed female A $1,800. Female B is also apparently notorious for being an all-around lying sack of crap and drama starter. Female is apologizing to both me and my wife and asking if there's anything she can do. This was confirmed independently by multiple third parties. Me and my wife continue talking after this revelation from female. I lay it out for my wife. I tell her I'm willing to forgive and work on things, but there are things that need to be done first before I'll consider it. 1. Any and all contact with the coworker has to be cut off immediately. 2. She's done with the same bar. She's going to staying out all hours of the night. 3. I wanted the answer to any question I had regardless of whether I would like the answer or not. After some painful moments and a couple days, we both decided we were going to try and work this out. She was fully aware that I was guarded and she wanted to work hard to earn my trust back. We go through a couple of really uneasy days, her walking on eggshells and me trying to maintain my sanity. We make it a point to eat lunch together every day. We go get couple S massage. We make it a point to spend a lot of time together talking. And then I screwed up. Coworker messages my wife saying, what the hell is this, trying to play it off with screenshots of my messages to her husband. My wife is now angry with me because I tell her. It takes me a minute, but I own up to it. We argue over that. I tell her she made her bed and to lay in it. She's mad because I possibly could have jeopardized her job. Coworker ran to their mutual boss. I really wanted to work on things, so I told her to throw my name under the bus. Just tell them I'm crazy. I don't care. I'm not going to see these people ever. Her job wasn't jeopardized and we go back to working on things. Time passes. My wife is slowly earning my trust back. A month and a half passes and she asks to go out. I ask where. She says to the same bar I asked her to cut off. I immediately get suspicious and pissed. I tell her to go. I don't want to feel like a controlling bee. She stays in contact with me the whole time and is back by the time I ask of her. Okay, no big deal. Fast forward to today, we're doing good. Spending a lot of time together. Texting constantly. My wife has met me on just about everything. We've compromised, talk constantly, reassure each other, be there for each other, have each other's backs. My wife found a new, much better paying job. We make plans for lunch together, we make plans for dates, we have slept together, we live normal. Now in the present time I'm having a little trouble letting go of a few things. I have an immense hatred for female consuming. I would never hit a woman, but if I see her again, I can't guarantee I'll behave myself. To me she's an enemy, a target, nothing. She almost destroyed my life. She changed my life forever, for no other reason than personal malice towards female. Female confronted her about it. Shortly after female received a visit from Child Protective Services from an anonymous call. We all know who did it. A couple of months out from D-Day and I'm still struggling with a few things. My trust for my wife has come back slowly, but it's not there all the way and I don't have the heart to tell her that I still need more time. She's worked so hard and hasn't given me reason to think otherwise on anything. I almost feel like I have some small form of PTSD. I'm not suspicious of everything she does, but there's always that question in the back of my mind. Will that go away eventually? She asked to go out with her friends tonight, to a different bar. I tried my best to hide it, but I had flashbacks from the previous nights she went out. Part of me asks, if I had read that text string would I have wanted to work things out? Will I let go of this hatred for female B? Every day is a little easier than the last, but there's one part of me that wants total annihilation of female B and co-worker. I feel totally cheated, like everybody got off scot-free, nobody suffered other than me and my wife. And I want to inflict that suffering on them. Will they go away with time? I don't hold any ill will towards my wife, I feel like I've forgiven her. But there are some days that are worse than others, and I feel like I can't tell her when I'm having a bad day with this because it will stir everything up and make her feel bad about things and guilty. I'm sort of struggling but not really at the same time. Or a couple months more than enough time. Or not enough. With the drinking, and the whole episode, her explanation was that she thought she had lost me because of female B's false accusation, and went into a tailspin and was drinking to numb herself and just got worse. I'm fully aware I probably don't know every little detail, and I probably never will. I'm thinking about getting a GPS device to attach to her vehicle just to see one night or some type of voice recorder. Would anybody have any recommendations? I don't know about the having someone she doesn't know follow her. I'm really at a loss as to who I could get to do that for me. There's always the possibility that if it turns out there's nothing there, and I get caught doing it, will I be gaining my dignity back when I show up to the bar tonight with her stuff to throw in her car and tell her we're done? They'll be lucky if someone isn't scraping their jaw off the floor of that place tonight. The beast has awoken and I'm angry. That bee has robbed the life out of me because she wanted to be a party girl at 34. This is the last time I will be anybody's doormat, babysitter, housekeeper, and emotional punching bag. She's had enough fun on my watch period. Time to start living for me. Straight up I'm telling her don't ask how I'm doing and don't talk to me unless it has something to do with the kids or our impending divorce. It is over. I don't deserve this. Nobody deserves to live like this. There may be someone else out there for me, but I am not going to be looking for a long time, and until then it's gotten paid and get laid. I confronted her at the bar. She had male accomplice with her. It was glorious. I told her she was a lying sack of crap and we were done. Nobody got hit. It was calm. I'm on war mode. Take no prisoners. I busted her cold in the act. I feel relieved honestly. It's over. Screws her. I'm going to get laid and live my life. I got a sitter and went to the bar. Texted her and asked where she was at while I was standing outside looking at her vehicle. She said she couldn't talk because she was at the hospital talking to nurses. Then asked if I was okay. I said I will be in a minute. I went into the bar and saw her. She got in my car and cried her crocodile tears. I told her to take that crap somewhere else and cry on someone else's shoulder. Said she was sorry she hurt me and it ended that way and that she will always love me. I told her don't ask how I'm doing, don't think about me, don't talk to me unless it had to do with the kids. Talking about how all she does is drag everybody down. Told her I don't care anymore, it's not my problem. Talked about how we both knew something was missing for years. I said yeah, I was missing my wife. Then she tried to give me the whole there's someone that can treat you better speech. I told her she was right, there was someone out there that can treat me better. Then I got an I deserve that I took money out of the ATM and let her go. She talked about still taking the trip to see my family this summer one last time. She wanted to see them because she liked them. They don't like her now, so that's out. Talked about joint custody, so I know she's been thinking about this for a while. I agreed to that. Other than that, screw her. I let her off to go get drunk and railed let her have her fun. Karma is a bee. This chick is unbelievable. So, after I confronted her, I sent the kids to the father-in-law's house for the night and went to a friend's house. Down couple 6-packs, got crap-faced drunk and stayed there for the night so I wasn't alone. 6 a.m. Saturday morning rolls around. She calls me. I answer the phone and say what to hear her hysterically crying. She asks where I'm at. I tell her it's none of her business anymore and hang up. She calls back and I answer again what. She says I have to tell you something and asks where I'm at. I tell her where I'm at and that I'm still a little drunk at that point and can't drive anyways. I left my car at home. She comes and gets me and says after she went back to the bar after I left, she got crap-faced drunk, took a drink from a stranger that was drugged and woke up in her car with the stranger on top of her biting her neck and stealing money from her. $200 was missing. She says a bouncer at the bar saw it and broke it up and the cops came, etc. I ask for a police report or business card from any responding officer that has to do with what she says is an open investigation now. I see the hickeys all over her neck and the shirt she wore to the bar was torn. She has nothing to show she was ever talking to any police, period. I'm thinking about calling the police station just to prove her wrong again. But I don't know if I can even get any information, period, even if I am legally still her husband, since technically I'm not a victim, or even if the police can give me a yes or no answer whether something really happened. She's hysterical, asking me if I was with anybody or screwed anybody. Saturday continues. She's apologizing to me repeatedly, turning on the waterworks, asking me who and why I'm texting anybody, telling me she's glad I caught her, she's done with the bar life and wants to fix herself now all of a sudden. I'm getting colder and angrier with each apology, and just even looking at her is making me physically ill. This continues into Sunday morning at breakfast. I call her a liar again and I'm seething at this point. I tell her I'm getting rid of the house, getting my own place, and she needs to start making plans to move on her own. I tell her to take the kids to the amusement park today like we had planned before and give me time to grieve and be angry and blow off steam. I get in my car to leave and she sits in there basically holding me hostage, will not let me leave, begs me to take the kids with her to the amusement park and goes on apologizing and saying she's done being stupid. She continues asking me if I'm talking to any other females and asking if I have one on the line already, so to speak. I wasn't talking to any other females, I was taking to my crap and family members to just vent. It's now Sunday and we're home and she's begging me to try and make it work, that she's done being stupid and wants to work on us. While I'm sitting here typing this out on my couch and she's watching me out of the corner of her eyes. I'm taking the day off tomorrow to talk to some lawyers. She knows I'm taking the day off and she can't do it and keeps asking what I'll be doing or who I'll be seeing, or if I'm going to see another female. I have no intention of hooking up with anybody for a fling. I have no desire for it and I don't want to get anybody else involved in this mess. My confidence in myself is back. I feel like crap and it still hurts very bad, but I'm not a bad-looking guy and I still have a good-paying job. One day I'll be free, one day I'll maybe even find someone else who will be better, but that's a long way away and it's time to live for me and my kids now. Oh, I'm not letting her spin this one, by the way. My entire family knows. Her entire family knows what really happened. I've not kept quiet anymore. It's liberating to not be alone in this anymore. At this point I don't care, as long as my children are treated good. I don't care what she does. I wish her the best, but she has no hold over me anymore and she knows it. I'm not coming running back. I'm not accepting any excuses. I'm not listening to the BS. I've tuned it out and I'm trying to stay focused. Of course, my mind is racing and it's hurting. But at the same time, I almost feel some sort of relief. Day, who knows what number of my own personal hell. She knows what's coming. I think she knows I'm not going for the reconciliation anymore. It's crazy to see what the woman I used to love has turned into. She's trying like hell to manipulate me, put on the puppy dog sad eyes, pulling out videos of the kids when they were toddlers and trying to watch them with me, crying a whole lot. She told me she's never seen me this cold to her. I keep my answers short and to the point with everything. She's asking where I'm going every time I'm leaving, still asking me if I'm talking to any females. I wonder if this is how she's always been and it's just now aimed at me. I've got an appointment with a lawyer tomorrow and I'm sticking to it. I am carrying a VAR in my pocket at all times when I'm home. Haven't drank since that horrible night. I've just been hanging out with my kids, working and letting her dig her own hole. This woman is a shell of the girl I fell in love with. I don't know who this is. I don't see her anymore. My comment: you're wayward is an entitled princess that thinks you owe her another chance. She's worked her manipulation before, so why not try it again? It's always worked. She's in self-preservation mode. Honey, I'll promise you the moon. Fingers crossed behind back. She lied right up until you caught her in the act, bud. Stay strong and good luck to you. Keep things civil on your end from here on out. Talk to your wife about the kids and that's it. Anything else, you tell your wife to put it through your lawyer.